Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with just a first impressions video on this knife. This is the RealSteel S571. RealSteel is calling this their flagship knife. So they're really wanting to show us, hey, look what we can do with this knife. And so I'll speak to that in the full review more so than this. But for now, I'm just going to give you a quick size and weight and my first impressions, okay? Before I do that though, you gotta bear with me for a little rant here and tell me if you're with me on this. There are a few knives out there right now that I'm super impressed by. Some stuff from Reich Knives, some stuff from, obviously this is from RealSteel. We Knives has a gorgeous knife, 7 Ready. Did a really cool review, and I'll try to link it in the description box below of a We Knife 601. They put a letter behind them depending on what color they've anoded the titanium and stuff. But it's taking all of my willpower not to buy one. So I'm waiting. I've got some money set aside specifically for the Benchmade 928, and I'm really trying not to buy the We Knife instead. Anyway. That's a discussion for a different day, but my point is this. In addition to that, you also have Reat Knives and Custom Knife Factory and Stedman and a few others that are putting out these very high-end, extremely well-finished knives, and they're from overseas. You know, if it's Custom Knife Factory, it's partially China, partially Russia. These other companies are all from China, and I really like a lot of the knives that they're offering, because of some of the things they're doing. They're doing some really cool stuff, and they're making features that don't come in under $500 or $600, but they're making them available to us for, you know, $300, $350 sometimes. Now, Reat Knives and Custom Knife Factory, I know they tend to be a little more. So here's my rant about all this. Those are all great knives, but where is the North American answer to that? Okay, now ZT, I'm going to give credit here. ZT is putting out some amazing stuff at very reasonable prices. Like for $200 or a little over $200, you can get a knife that is phenomenal, that has features that you're not usually seeing outside of, you know, custom knives. Really, really nice stuff. But other than them, you're not seeing, and even from them, they've kind of, I think, adapted a little bit. But from other makers especially, you're not seeing the kind of detailed work, you're not seeing the anodization, you're not seeing, you know, the ceramic, double row ceramic bearings that are just smooth as silk. You know, you're not seeing that stuff from American makers for anywhere close to that price point, that the RealSteels or the Reich Knives or the We Knives and stuff like that. And I don't think it's price that's totally the deal here, guys. I really don't, because ZT, as I said, they're coming in at like $220 with these amazing knives. So they're under $300 for just awesome stuff, which shows me American makers can do it. I'm just kind of thinking, why aren't they? You know, I think an American maker could put it together a knife like this and charge a very similar price and kind of be in the game. So that's my rant, okay? Bear with me on that. Let me get back to this knife, but let me know what you think about that, guys. I really, you know, have you seen the We Knives 601? I think that's such a sweet blade, and I'm really trying not to buy one. Anyway, moving on to this knife that I want to talk about that kind of got me thinking along these lines, saying, where's the American competition for this? Or where's the North American, maybe, competition for this? Let me give you a rundown on this. This is 8.5 inches overall, okay, and this is a very efficient knife, and that's one of the things I'm impressed by. 3 3/4 inch blade, 4 7/8 inch handle. So closed in your pocket, it's only 4 7/8 inches, a little less than 1/2 inch thick, carries really, really well, and only 5 ounces, so very lightweight. One of the things I think is a real accomplishment on this knife, they've milled out these scales on the show side especially. You can probably see it there. I'll see if I can get the angle right. I don't know. If not, when I do the full review, I'll make sure that I zoom in and show you that. But very impressed with size, weight, and blade to handle ratio on this. So you can carry quite a bit of blade in a fairly lightweight package, especially for a titanium frame lock. So really, really impressive on that front. The blade shape is really cool. It's LMAX steel. So guys, production knives in LMAX steel have been sort of, you know, here and there, and some guys don't even want to, they'll say, no, I only buy Elmax if it's from like a custom maker. I'll have to speak to edge retention later. I just don't know. I've done a little bit of cutting, but not enough. Did come very, very sharp, and it's nice thinly ground. I really like the grind on this blade. I really like the grind lines that you can see. I will say that right off the bat. But let me, now that you've got the size and weight on this, 5 ounces, which is, you know, it's really cool because you're getting thick, robust titanium. Feels very solid in hand, and yet only 5 ounces. So really, really cool. Now, let me quickly tell you the features and then we'll be done. Okay, so Elmax blade, bearings, ball bearing pivot system, lock bar insert, over travel stop that also serves as a secondary lock. I'm not crazy about this feature. In fact, I would have liked them to drop that altogether and just put the over travel stop in the lock bar insert. It would have, see on this side how it's a very just clean design. Had they done that on this side, I think it would have cleaned up. I think this side would have matched the other side better. So they could have dropped this and put the over travel stop here. Not the end of the world. Milled clip that does work really well, and that's always worth noting. A lot of milled clips just don't work. Okay, they're too tight. They don't fit in your pants, and it's just annoying. By the way, I know that's what she said. But we're talking about milled pocket clips, single position milled clip. Very, very well done. Okay, very, very comfortable in and out of pocket, no problem. Let's see. I think we've talked about everything. Milled titanium. Oh yeah, one little last thing. There's a really cool lanyard hole here. Now it's not going to work with 550 cord, but you could put something else through it. It's really interesting way they've done it. They've sort of put a standoff here, or like a stop pin almost, only they put it's got a hole drilled through it that you can loop some cordage through and put a lanyard on the knife. So there you go, guys. That's my first impressions. I will do a full review of this, and I'm carrying it and using it. I've actually been really impressed so far, but I can't speak to things like, you know, hot spots really well right now. I can't speak to the edge retention. It is only hardened to 58 Rockwell hardness, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on my little rant there at the beginning. And if you guys are trying to get a hold of one of those Wii knives, I know they're selling like crazy, and that's why I'm just like, man, anyway. That's a discussion for another video, but I'd love to hear your feedback on the Chinese knives that are coming in and what they're doing. I think it's really impressive, and I'd like to see some US companies other than Zero Tolerance do some similar stuff. There you go. That's my take on my first impressions on the RealSteel S571. More on this when I do the full review in a few weeks. Talk to you later.